Welcome to Art Ed Radio, the podcast for art teachers. This show is produced by the Art of Education, and I'm your host, Tim Bogatz. Okay, welcome to the show, everyone, and thank you for joining us. I know a lot of people are starting school right now, and we appreciate you tuning in, and we're hoping that today's episode can maybe ease some fears, ease some anxieties when it comes to dealing with technology and all of the things you need to learn at the beginning of the school year. Now, I received an email from a new teacher named Chloe, just talking about all of her anxiety when it comes to new technology, what she needs to learn. And I started thinking that, this would be perfect for the September mailbag. And so I was going to save it. And I decided, the more I thought about it, that there's actually an entire episode here because there is so much to deal with in her question. We'll read it in a little bit. But I wanted to bring on Jen Leban. Jen used to be an art teacher. She used to do a ton with tech, and she's so good at talking through tech. And so I wanted to kind of run these ideas by her, see what she can help with in her experience, what kind of advice she has for everybody. Because honestly, starting a new school year can be overwhelming under the best of circumstances. But I think when you're a new art teacher, the list of expectations can just get endless, especially when it comes to maybe tech that you aren't good with or you haven't dealt with. There are new platforms and devices and passwords and all of these things that you're suddenly expected to understand. And so in our conversation today, I'm hoping that we can talk about what to do when that technology feels like too much, and maybe get some advice from Jen on why you don't necessarily have to become an expert right away. But Jen is here. Jen is ready to chat, so let me bring her on now. All right, my favorite community manager, Jen Leban, is joining me now. Jen, how are you?
I am doing great. I am riding high after that last Art Ed Now conference. How are you doing, Tim?
Also great. A little tired after the conference, but things are good, and we're ready to start talking about this school year. So I talked in the intro a little bit about Chloe, and Chloe sent me an email, and I originally was going to put it in the mailbag as part of our next month's conversation, but I honestly think that this email deserves its own conversation. And Jen, you worked in ed tech for a long time, and I wanted to bring on your expertise. So if you don't mind, I will read Chloe's email and we can dive in. There's a lot here. So
Sure.
Are you ready for this?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so Chloe says, I'm writing in hopes that you have some advice for me. I'm a new high school art teacher who just started my in-service days, and I'm overwhelmed by all the technology I'm expected to use. I'm not good with technology. I'm super scared I'm going to mess things up, and I guess just anxious about everything I'm supposed to know. There's Schoology, I have an iPad, the iPad has a million apps, there's an Apple TV, and I don't even know what else in the media center. And we even have an app for kids when they can go to the bathroom, ? Plus digital portfolios. And my department was talking about how we're going to handle AI. She just says, help. This is so much. How do I learn it all without breaking anything and without looking stupid in front of the kids? So there is a lot to unpack here. And yeah, lots to converse about. But Jen, what grabs your attention first here?
Well, this is definitely worthy of its own episode. So my very first reaction, without looking stupid in front of the kids, I just have to say, I will always look stupid in front of the kids.
Throw that out the window.
I don't care. Yeah, I don't care if you teach elementary, middle school, high school. I come from middle school land, and it's do not have any illusions that you're going to look cool or even normal to the kids. Not even you're just, they're always going to be it's my teacher.
I was going to say,
you're always going to look stupid.
Chloe in real life is probably early to mid 20s and very cool, but to
Exactly.
middle schoolers or high schoolers, she's ancient,
100%. Yeah. So it's better to just embrace it, let go of that. You're just never going to look cool. But I also think high school they might embrace like that whole self-deprecation thing like more than other grade levels. So if you just kind of like, I'm uncool, guys, I don't know this stuff. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like I think they'll actually be more open to that.
It
maybe
resonates with the high schoolers.
Yeah. So first of all, like I worried that I was going to like talk too big and too philosophically about ed and tech. So I wanted to start off with just giving like really practical, like specific to Chloe things that she can use. So I literally like bullet pointed this out, like learn Schoology first.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody has Schoology, but Chloe does. So I'm using her specific example because it's the foundation. They call it the LMS. It's her learning management system. And it's the foundation for everything. It's where all of your assignments and all your communications go. So that's like the base. If you learn nothing else because you're brand new and you're like, I don't know where to start, learn Schoology.
Start there.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Some people have Google Classroom. Some people use Canvas. So whatever your thing is, do that first. So that can transfer to everybody. Then take your iPad home, mess around with it, but don't use it in class yet. Like this is where teaching art is an advantage. You're not, unless you're teaching digital art, which she did not say she is.
Right.
And wouldn't that be weird if she was and then feels weird about technology? But anyways, take your iPad home, mess around with it like on your own. Like don't feel the pressure to use it in class yet. And then as far as Apple TV, that's just her school's version of like a smart board or a digital projector. The Apple TV is just the way that they're getting their slides or whatever onto the screen. So like that's not really a whole nother thing to learn. It's just how you present.
Right. I was going to say my wife and everybody at her school just got Apple TVs recently. And that was kind of the learning curve for them. Like it was very intimidating. Like, oh, I have this big, expensive Apple TV. And I don't even know how expensive they are. But, I have this in my room. What do I do with it? And then they just came to realize like, oh no, this is just a fancy projector that works well with your iPad.
Yep. It's a fancy projector. We have them at my house. Like that is our main form of entertainment is Apple TV. I'd be like, woohoo, catch up on your TV show during plan time. But, but really it's just, it's your fancy projector. Don't let that freak you out. And then Chloe also said that they were doing digital portfolios, blah, blah, blah. So I said, digital portfolios, they're great. I'll talk about it in a moment, but that's for later in the semester, like when you have work to put in there. So she's got time. So really like start small, start with Schoology, like learn that and then build.
And take it from there. So
new teacher is always overwhelming. Like new teacher tech, even more overwhelming. Like, so just, Yeah.
And so with all of those new things, all that you're expected to learn, I assume you think it's okay to be hesitant at this point. And so, I'm just wondering, like in your experience working with tech and teachers that need to learn tech, what are the most common feelings or the most common reactions when teachers are learning something new?
Mm-hmm. So maybe because I didn't fully say at the beginning of the episode here, like I was a middle school art teacher, but then I was a technology teacher in middle school. And then I was a technology coach where I taught other teachers. So I have like there's my street cred, guys. But first of all, if you are not hesitant and you don't have anxiety, like then I would be like, that's weird because that's how normal like the hesitancy and anxiety, it's so normal. When I would go talk to teachers, it was kind of cute, like sad, but like funny, but also like teachers always wanted to convince me how bad they were at tech. I was always like, oh, I'm so bad at technology. Oh, I can't do that. And I was like, wait a minute, there's no need to explain to me. I'm not the tech police. Like as a tech coach, I was not an administrator. I was not here to judge you. I'm just here to help and support.
Yeah.
So I always found myself being like saying things like, believe me, I've worked with teachers that are bad at technology and you are not them. Like what they think is bad was never bad. Like I've got some horror stories, but
I was going to say, I feel like that's another podcast that we did.
Yeah, that's a whole other podcast, but teachers are not bad at technology. I don't know if they say it to make like it's uncomfortable to not feel like an expert in everything, especially when you're a teacher and you're held to these like high standards, but like it's okay. There's no need to apologize. You could just be, it's cool. And hopefully you have some kind of support system at your school where they can help you with that. If it's officially like your tech department, or maybe you're fortunate enough to have a tech coach or a tech specialist, or even just like another teacher that's really into tech and then likes to help.
Yeah, no, any of those, all of the above.
All of the above.
So can we talk then about not quote unquote the right mindset, but just what is a good mindset to have when you're faced with technology that's scary or things that make you anxious? Like how do you best approach learning something with which you're unfamiliar? What are the best strategies for that?
Yeah. I would tell teachers kind of the same thing that I tell students. So like, although I think with adults, their anxieties or their worries are like so much bigger, like big
Yeah.
feelings. So first of all, like you're not going to blow up the machine if you press the wrong button. Like that's like, they're afraid to like, oh, like even touch it. So like, not a thing. So you can't actually mess it up. One of the best things about technology is there's always an undo button, especially now you can like go into your revision history and revise and like reload and refresh. Like it's probably safer now than ever before. Like you can't mess stuff up. And my favorite trick is Control Z is your undo button. And what I would tell kids, and I know we're listening to a podcast right now, so picture the letter Z in the air, draw a letter Z, like it's like you're erasing away your mistake. Control Z, you're wiping away your mistake.
Yes.
So that is my number one, if nothing else. That's your strategy. You really can't mess it up. There's no harm in trying. So I got 3 other things very short.
Okay. Oh, I love that you've made a list for us.
I did. I made a list. The second item is just one step at a time. One thing, one trick, one new tool. Don't try to do it all. So like when I was talking at the beginning, start with Schoology, start with your LMS. You don't have to do all the things all at once. Being a new teacher, especially, like you get that forgiveness built in. Like people understand that and they know that. Next, find a trusted friend. So that could be probably like a lot of times if you're a new teacher, you're assigned like a mentor teacher.
Right.
Hopefully they assigned you somebody that knows all the tech platforms. If they didn't, like, shame on them, choose a better mentor. But you'll very quickly learn like who's a good teacher to ask, who's, that sort of thing. And then lastly, like, who is putting this pressure on you to use the tech? Like, are you being directly told like you need to use the iPads and then the Apple TV and all of this stuff? Like, or are you just putting the pressure on yourself? Because that's so easy for us to do. We're like, I have this iPad. I feel like I have to use it. Well, maybe you don't. Maybe it's there to use in other classes and you don't need to add to that. I don't know.
Yeah, or maybe that's for you to use in the future. Maybe that's something that you don't have to use immediately. So I think that's good advice to kind of step back and be like, how much do I really have to do here?
Yeah.
Okay, so also, as you're thinking about that, I'm just thinking, what if we kind of reframe it? Like, thinking about what's out there, what are the cool things you can do? Like, what are some of the opportunities that are out there with technology? And what types of things are you seeing teachers doing when it comes to tech or just bringing new ideas into their classrooms?
Yeah, I like the idea of reframing because it turns it from like a have to a get to.
Yes.
And I obviously love tech. I'm a get to kind of teacher, and I know not everybody is built that way, and that's okay. It takes all kinds to teach art, but there are some really cool things that you can do. First of all, the digital art gallery and portfolio, which it sounds like Chloe's school is already doing. That's not a new idea, but it's like really tried and true. Artsonia is the easy one. Like it's a service there for you and they do most of it. Now, if your school does not do that or have a platform for that, it sounds big and complicated, but it doesn't. It could just be Google Slides. That is a portfolio.
So many secondary teachers love Google Slides. Easy to put together, easy to edit, easy to work with. So.
Picture artist statement. Yay, done. Like, don't make it a big thing. The other, as far as like really cool things and like the above and beyond, this is not beginner stuff, but like I love the possibilities of making art more interactive and come to life. So when you are comfortable and you want to do more things like kinetic sculptures, you turn them into like little animated GIFs. Like we did automatons one time, like cardboard, we made them and they were fun to turn into like little GIFs, with my 8th graders. That was fun. Taking a static portrait and like making it talk and like speak the artist statement, is funny. It's funny too. I like funny stuff. And then like QR codes as part of your art display that maybe lead to a video of the work in progress or a student talk, especially in high school, maybe talking about their work, like as part of a bigger presentation. Like those are the fun bonuses for later on, when you start to feel comfortable. I said that they're whipped cream. They're not essential, but they're delicious.
Perfect way to think about it.
Yeah.
I love it.
And then the last final good use of technology is coming to the Art of Ed community, by the way.
Love it.
Plug.
So, I was just talking to Amanda last week about how much we love the community and how we plug it like 8 times every episode. So
yes.
Here we go. You're getting that off the list. So
yes.
Okay, another, I think, dilemma that Chloe was having, another one that she was worried about. I would like you to address this directly, if you don't
Mhm.
mind. What is your best advice for, as she said, not breaking stuff?
Not breaking stuff. All right. Well, number one is going to refer back to above, Control Z. Wipe
Yeah.
that letter Z. It's fine. What does this button do? I don't know. Press it. Find out. And if it doesn't work, then revert. Go back. So seriously, like breaking stuff is really, it's more of a, that's a worry. It's a little bit more of an unrealistic worry. Like, not that it couldn't happen, but
Right.
okay, I'm going to do a little soapbox moment now, if you don't mind.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. My next thing related to maybe not breaking, but making your life harder. Please, please, please write down all of your logins and passwords somewhere and keep it with you at all times. So I know this is annoying. I know teachers are like, oh, there's so many logins. There's so many. You're right. You are right. But so much time gets wasted with the password drama and
Yes.
especially if your school is using like two-factor authentication where like it sends a code to your phone and everyone hates that. Literally everyone, even tech people, they hate it. But it's an unavoidable unpleasantry compared to what could happen if your account did get hacked. And I hate to sound all like mom and write your password down, but like it is so important. It's a really unpleasant chore, kind of like taking out the garbage or cleaning the bathroom, but it's got to be done,
Yeah,
So
well, I
yeah,
I like that way of thinking about it, of just like, yeah, this is a waste of 45 seconds right now, but
yes.
how much time are you gonna be wasting later if you do not have this password or your account
Mhm.
gets hacked or whatever? So future you will thank you.
Future you will thank you. We all hate it. Like it just in life. It's a thing, but honestly, like my experience in the tech and the ed tech world, I've heard some horror stories too, and a lot of it. So really, just like I know it's hard to like just take it face value, but seriously, like write your stuff down, keep track of it, keep it with you. Just roll your eyes and enter the code, enter the 6-digit code that got texted to you. Yeah. If you do have to contact your tech department for help, give as much detail as possible. So, in my experience, I hated having to reach out to the tech department, and every district's different. And you might have a really cool tech department, or you might have a terrible tech department. So, you better believe I did everything in my control to fix something first before I reached out to the tech department, because that was how I operated. It was my last resort. So, explain your issue and explain what you've already tried, what you've already done in order to resolve it, including turning it fully off and on again.
I was just gonna ask if that's part of the checklist. So
Oh, yeah. But you explicitly tell them. Otherwise, you're going to waste so much time back and forth where they're going to be like, did you try this?
yeah,
Did you
have
try
you
this?
tried?
Did you try that? And every time it's like sometimes 24 hours to get a response. So, like, just front load it with all the things. And that could save you a lot of energy.
Yeah, I like it. Now, I want to circle back as kind of our last question here to wrap things up. We talk about this a lot on the podcast. Chloe being new, maybe does not listen a lot, maybe has not heard me talk about this all the time. But why should we not care what students think? Okay. And, you know, I guess along with that, like, why is it okay to say, I don't know about this? And just what is the best way to approach or address the issue of quote unquote not knowing tech in front
Yeah.
of your students?
Yeah. I think probably the best first thing to say is a little bit of that, like, letting go of your ego. Like you're gonna look stupid in front of the kids.
Yes.
But like be willing to ask for help, because I was the technology teacher. So I wasn't like the art teacher teaching tech. At one point I was the technology teacher, and I would just randomly ask the class, like, all right, who figured out how to do this thing? Because we couldn't, and
Yes.
I'm like,
Yes.
somebody in the class figured it out.
Yeah.
And who figured it out? Who could show me, what was your solution? What did you find? Or could you help Sarah over here who needed help, whatever? Because kids love being the expert or
Yes.
like teaching you something that you didn't know, but that's also just a strategy for teaching in general. I mean, I think it's just one of the aspects of teaching in our modern times,
Yeah.
things do move
Absolutely.
really fast, and you have to be okay with being like, I don't know. Let's ask each other. Let's crowdsource. I mean,
Yeah.
that's one of the reasons I chose to teach tech, though, because I do like learning things all the time, and I am comfortable with saying, I don't know. I'm the teacher, but I don't know what's going on. I mean,
Yeah. And
yeah.
You have to be comfortable doing that. Like, your life
Yeah.
is going to be so much easier if you're not afraid to say, I don't know, or I haven't learned that yet, or let's figure this out together. Those are all great approaches, not just for tech, but like you said, for teaching in general. And if I can be flippant for just a second,
Yeah.
also, if you're teaching high school and you're worried about tech, just there's a bunch of kids in your class that don't know how to type, that don't know how to save things, that
Hmm.
cannot write an email. And so
Hmm.
you don't need to worry that much about looking dumb or not knowing tech, because there's a lot of stuff that we take for granted that a majority of kids flat out don't know how to do right now.
So that is the thing. Like the idea of like kids being digital natives, that's like a myth. They like to pretend like they know what they're doing.
Right.
But
Well,
they
and
have no more clue than we do half the time.
I feel like forever teachers and just adults in general have almost failed kids in this way, because we just say, oh, they're digital natives and they know this, but they don't. And no one teaches them, because we always fall back on the assumption that they
Hmm.
know this. Like, just because they're on an iPad a lot or on a screen a lot does not mean that they have it figured out, that anybody has taught them these things. And so there's a whole different podcast there too that I think we could dive in. But
Look
that
at
is
us
an
coming up with
important.
ideas,
I
man.
know. Oh, that is an important point to remember.
I do think that even though, like, yes, there are a lot of kids that will need to be explicitly taught, like, how to turn a file into Schoology. Like, it's like, they should know how to do it, but they don't.
They don't.
There are some students, though, that do know a lot and on their own have taught themselves how to code or how to do this or that. And you will very quickly learn which students those are
Yeah.
and which students are trustworthy. So my favorite is I was teaching 8th grade tech class, and I had a boy in the class. He loved coming up to me at the beginning of class every day and demonstrating to me like what the latest games were the students were getting to and how they were unblocking it and how they were jumping the filter. But every day he'd be like, "Did you see this one, Mrs. Leban? Look how they're doing this." And it was really cute and endearing, even though he was fully snitching on his friends. But I think he really just wanted to show me, like, look at this cool thing I found out that they're doing. And did you see that? And I was like, that's so cool. Like, I love him, and I actually found him, like, shout out to Will. I've seen him on Instagram. I love him. He was like one of my, okay, you're not supposed to have favorites, but Will, you were one of my favorite students, just so
I
you
love
know.
it.
So yeah.
All right, Jen, any last words of advice, any last things that you want to tell Chloe, or just tell anybody listening in general?
Sometimes art teachers view tech as the enemy. And I think that I would challenge that and just think broadly, like, because one of the reasons I love both, and I think the commonality between the two is that both disciplines, both subject areas, they require you to think creatively to solve problems. It's just all about creative, problem solving. In both fields, there isn't just one right answer. There are multiple ways to achieve the same or a similar thing. And I love that. And that's one of the reasons why I like kind of live in both worlds, and it's easy to hate tech, especially in modern times with the AIs and stuff. Yes, I will absolutely jump on that hater train with you. So don't worry. But there's so much good too that we can also do with it. So I would say a little bit of open-minded about tech in general and think about how we can use, things to solve problems in creative ways and just embrace the uncertainty, the uncoolness, the not knowing, and kind of like, yeah, that attitude of like, we're kind of in it together, we're learning together with your students. It's hard, but I would say it's necessary.
Yeah, I love that advice. I love that answer. And I think that's something good to think about as we're moving forward here. So, Jen, thank you so much for coming on and
Yay.
talking through all of these issues with me. I appreciate it.
Anytime, Tim.
Thank you to Chloe for writing in, and thank you to Jen for coming on and discussing all of these topics with us. There is so much technology when it comes to what we do as teachers, and it is easy to feel like you need to understand all of it immediately. But as Jen said earlier, you can start with one platform, one tool, one problem at a time. In this case, it's the learning management system. Okay, but you can then build from there once you have that under control. And I appreciate Jen's reassurance too that we're not going to break anything by exploring, and the reassurance that you don't have to look like an expert in front of your students. And that's a message that we keep coming back to in this podcast, something I've talked about a lot in my experience. Being willing to learn alongside your students, being willing to ask them for help can be great for so many different reasons. But I think it's good to remember that having some anxiety around technology is normal. Okay? You have permission. You can give yourself permission to say, I don't know yet. Okay? But thinking again about having students help solve that problem or having students learn alongside you, you are modeling that creative problem solving and that openness that art teaching should be about. So all in all, I hope that this conversation gave you a few ideas today, or maybe just made technology a little less scary, a little bit less intimidating as you go into this school year. We are so glad you joined us for today's episode, and we hope it was helpful for you. If you know someone else who might be helped with the information in this show, we would love for you to share it with them. We also appreciate all the ratings and reviews that listeners leave for us, so if you have a few seconds to give us a 5-star rating or even leave a review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen, we would love to see it. Thank you again for listening, and we will see you next week.